sentencing day for Brittany Zamora. She's the former 6th grade teacher in Goodyear who admits she had sex with her 13-year-old student.
Can you tell me where he touched you?
In my private a little.
A teacher ought to be our second parent while in school. They are supposed to be good people who guide our children and instill in them valuable lessons. What happens if the teachers are otherwise and instead of guiding our children, they are evil to them? This video will look into some cases where evil teachers were caught before they could even realize it.
I think I'm a threat. Do not put that on my face.
Let me know you guys got the...
Do not kiss.
Let's start with William Vahey. If awards could be given to evil teachers, William James Vahey ought to top the chart. He is one of the worst pedophiles in history. William was an American teacher who taught in schools abroad and is believed to have drugged and abused at least 90 students in his care during an unprecedented wave of attacks at schools he taught from Nicaragua to Indonesia. An education official in Britain has confirmed that students at the South Bank International School in London, where William last taught, were among the first known victims of the teaching veteran. The chair of governors at South Bank School, Sir Chris Woodhead, said he felt physically sick when he was informed that one of his popular teachers was responsible for such an abuse. Images were found on Vahey's thumb drive, which was uncovered in Nicaragua, suggesting scores of teenage boys had been drugged and then molested, often without their knowledge. A former student of Vahey said she believes 3 of her classmates committed suicide after being abused by the teacher.
Suspected sexual predators that we've seen, given the numbers of children, potential victims, his position of trust, and so forth, and some of the allegations and the methods that are being alleged that he may have employed while committing these crimes.
Alicia, who was taught by Vahey during the 1980s in Saudi Arabia, said she heard rumors about the teacher years after she left school. The FBI seeks information about him, which made Vahey commit suicide at a motel in the USA so he could escape trial. Does it end there? Not at all. Even some substitute teachers are pure evil. Yashin Asher isn't yet a permanent teacher, but he has displayed behavior beyond normalcy. Yashin was interrogated in September 2021 for allegedly abusing girls sexually. He was accused of inappropriately touching young girls who are said to be under 12 years old at the school where he taught. After he was exposed by the parents of the victims, Yashin was arrested and questioned by the investigator. What unfolded will shock you as well because it's just pure evil.
Saying that you put your hands inside her pants and her buttocks, her butt. Are you willing to take a lie detector test? It's really a stress voice analysis test, but people kind of refer to it as a possible lie detector test. Will you be willing to take something like that?
After a long silence, the investigator talked about video evidence, and Yashin sat there staring in shock. He appeared to have underestimated the investigative capabilities of the law enforcement officers. Yashin tried to admit his wrongdoings, but the officer intensified the interrogation, pressing Yashin for confession.
I won't do it.
You want to do what?
I feel it's a very wrong thing. It is a wrong thing.
It's very suspicious that Yashin would answer just 2 questions after all the silence. Even if there is doubt about his guilt, one might question how random girls from different classes who don't know themselves would independently choose to fabricate these accusations. It's practically impossible.
Tell me where he touched you?
In my private a little.
Do you want to hear the truth? Yeah, I touched her. I'm sorry, but I did wrong.
After lots of questioning, Yashin finally admits to his crimes. One would think Yashin would face up to his crime like a man, but he does the opposite again, daring the young girl to let him do it. He is clearly showing the kind of person he is. The investigator inquired further whether Yashin thought anyone else might come forward to accuse him of a similar offense. to which he replied the negative. Yashin was accused of 4 counts of sexual assault and will serve 8 years for each count. That's not the end. He is now classified as a sexual predator and will be deported after serving a sentence. You might think it's only male, but female teachers are more gory. Female teachers who are supposed to take the role of mother in school were surprisingly evil. One such evil teacher was Alyssa McCommon. She taught 5th grade at Crestview Elementary School before moving to Charter Academy, where she was arrested for raping a boy at her home and accused of multiple sexual misconduct to juveniles. The mother of 2 started this move by first playing video games with the children before switching communication to social media. After that, Alyssa sent explicit photos before requesting a sexual relationship. Former prosecutor and defense attorney Florina Altischer says it's a form of coaxing victims into trust through playing games.
Forget we ever talked, okay? I'll raise this baby and I'll love this baby and I'll do it by myself.
Florina Altischer further said Alyssa's position as a teacher likely influenced the grooming process. McCommon pleaded guilty and was released on a $25,000 bond, provided she refrained from having any contact with the alleged victim or other minors besides her children. Another individual who shouldn't be allowed to teach is 27-year-old Brittany Zamora. She was a 6th grade teacher at La Brisa's Academy who got into trouble when the parent of a 13-year-old boy notified the school of a series of text messages they found on the boy's phone in March 2018. Zamora was accused of having done the unthinkable act of sexually abusing her student. The victim told investigators how he and Brittany, who was 27 years old at that time and married, had sex in the classroom and her car several times. She is even said to have performed oral sex on the 13-year-old student. The victim said Zamora started flirting with him in a classroom chat group and then sent explicit photos to him. Later in the interrogation room, Zamora was questioned by an investigator, starting from her previous workplace.
Brittany Zamora, you hurt my family. Your heart is ugly and you disgust me. Secret is out. The world knows you are a child molester.
My actions were completely out of character for me. I ask that you please have leniency in regards to my sentencing.
Brittany cooperates a lot with the investigator and even smiles from time to time, which shows she has no clue of how much trouble she's in.
Where were you before that?
Littleton Elementary School.
How long were you there?
From July 2013 to May 2017.
However, she found out quickly when the investigator broke the news. When it got to this point, Brittany kept shut. The investigator half sympathized with her so she could open up further, but Zamora quickly shut the request, saying she had nothing to say without legal representation.
So if anyone would open the door, I'd say, oh, someone here, and they're in the corner. So they told me just to cover the door. And then the next day, I didn't want to cover, so I just went out the classroom and covered, because I didn't want to see them doing stuff.
The investigator began explaining the consequences of her actions. By the time the investigator could finish mentioning the consequences of her actions, Zamora broke down into tears, saying she didn't think all her acts could backfire like this and was about to land her in jail. Just looking at this woman, you will think she's innocent and a sweet person, but she was pure evil. There is nothing else to classify it. Subsequent interviews with students of La Brisa's Academy shed light on it. It shows how evil she truly was. A young kid witnessing this act makes all of this much more awful.
What other scary first thing that happened in the room?
First thing, they started kissing, and then
He didn't even know how to say certain terms. This woman is just exposing her student to a vile act. When it got to this point, Zamora pleaded guilty to sexual conduct with a minor, as well as public indecency, and was sentenced to 20 years imprisonment. Which of these teachers is the most evil? Let us know in the comment section. Do well to like, share, and subscribe for more videos.